I hate to say it, I hate to be that guy, but I was right.
I waited for him, you know. If I'm not going to make the Final Four, you're not going to make the Final Four either based on your consequences. If you want to bump me out of the way, fine, but you slammed me out of the way, so you're going to face the consequence.
When you have sore losers and people who just don't know how to drive short tracks, just wanted to throw a fit like a baby.
What's up, guys? Danny Cochran here, driver of the number 31 Logan's Lead Larry Arts Productions Chevrolet Silverado for Larson Line Racing. Answering some more questions this week heading into the round of 8, so let's get straight into it.
Hey, my name is Trenton Jump, and the driver of the number 46 Clairsdale Graphics 4F150.
After making the round of 8, it's very stressful, yeah. With these trucks, it could go either way. You could have a really good race, and then something can happen, you can get taken out, you hit the wall. Especially at Indianapolis, if you touch the wall on the right side of your car, you're pretty much done for the race. So it's pretty stressful right now, but I think as long as we stay clean, it'll be okay.
Feeling pretty good about it. Kind of expected to be here with this pace we've had all year, especially you know, as good of a run as we've been getting on late in the season. I feel like we should be here. I felt like it would have been a disappointment if we didn't make it through to this point. At least this is where really everything starts getting serious. You got, you know, it goes from 8 to the championship 4, so this is when all the proverbial marbles are on the table, and you got to take what you can take, and you know, you can't make friends at this point in the season. I mean, even somebody you might be friends with earlier in the season, I mean, they're your bitter rival right now. So it's just about, you know, staying focused and getting the job done, honestly.
Feels great to be here, you know. Obviously, I'm stoked to make this round of the playoffs, especially with a more stacked field than we've ever seen in this league before. Only thing, though, I mean, I've been here 3 seasons, and every time I made the round of 8, I kind of feel like it's expected of us at this point to at least make it this far, so I'm glad to get that off my chest. Thrilled to be here, though. Being around some really competitive guys, some great drivers.
I am feeling pretty content or happy about making the round of 8. Honestly, after the last round, after the first race at Road America, I wasn't sure if I was going to even be able to make it to the round of 8. We put ourselves in a really big gap, I guess, or a really big hole after the first race. Wrecking ourselves in the kink at Road America wasn't, you know, the best thing, I guess, for me. We had really good pace in that race, and then we just threw it away, and then obviously we put ourselves in almost a must-win position going into Nashville, and unfortunately for my Snowy Desert Racing teammate, Christopher Norris, you know, he got caught up in something, and I guess luckily for me, it kind of squeezed on by, or I squeezed on by like 2 points, I think, knocking him out and putting me back in. Hopefully we don't do the same thing in this round, but it's been a roller coaster ride, to say the least, for these playoffs. We've unfortunately been one of the most consistent, I feel like, drivers throughout the entire season, and the playoffs are kind of just been off for me, so hopefully we can clean it up in the round of 8 and get the opportunity to go race for a championship.
As I'm the defending champion, I'm feeling pretty good. I know we don't have a win so far this year, but it's been a year for the record books. If there could be anyone with worse luck than me this year, I mean, I'd like to meet them. Just the amount of times that we've been leading races this year and just dominating races, or flat out just drove from the back to the front, and we just get taken out from the lead or taken out while we have a chance to win. It's just like you don't even get a chance to get to the end of the race to even get a shot at it. So it's frustrating. You know, we lost Rockingham over a conspiracy deal. So that was a shame.
And then what got me into iRacing? So I guess to start, because it kind of goes hand in hand with what got me into NASCAR as a NASCAR fan, was I was gifted a copy of Gran Turismo 6 by a friend back in 2014, I want to say, roughly. And pretty much when I got into there, for some reason I was drawn into the NASCAR community. It was a pretty small community, and you know, kind of got to meet and talk with some of the people that really embraced me into the community early on. So I became a fan of NASCAR pretty much through them and through that small community on Gran Turismo. And then from there, I met Ben Nelson, which he raced in the Coke Series on iRacing just a few years ago. And he pretty much told me about iRacing and how it was this up-and-coming game, or simulator that was, the best of the best, pretty much. And I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube and decided one day I'm just gonna plunge in and make a big purchase and, put hundreds of dollars out there just in one shot and just try it out. So I got myself a computer because I didn't have one at the time, and we got ourselves a wheel and we got ourselves fully set up with the membership and the cars and everything, and we gave it a shot. And obviously now that was in 2015 and we're still sticking around 7 years later. So obviously I enjoy it. It's a hobby of mine. It's fun. And yeah, so Gran Turismo is what got me into iRacing, funny enough.
I've played NASCAR games for a long time. Just constantly in and out of racing games growing up and doing NASCAR leagues on Xbox, and then just financially wasn't able enough to move to the PC thing. Back in 2018, finally bought a PC and got on iRacing and started racing, and just really honing my skills on iRacing. So yeah, pretty much just started on Xbox and league raced on there, and I did F1 leagues, and then finally grew up and got on iRacing.
Question 2. So my favorite memory of Indy is the memory where I don't go there. Virtually. I don't know about real life. I haven't been there. I've heard it's pretty good. But virtually, I don't really care for Indianapolis. It's long straightaways, very long races. Lots of things can take you out. It's a very narrow track. And for me, it's not a lot of fun.
Probably my favorite real life was when Jeff Gordon won in 2014. He was my favorite driver. And just seeing him win at a track that meant so much to him, and it was a crown jewel back then. So it felt, it was great watching him win. And from what I remember, he was pretty dominant that day, or I might just be misremembering it, but it seemed like he had a very fast car pretty much all day. And seeing him win that race, it felt really good. Especially, it had been a rough couple seasons there around that time. Zach might remember this one. This was back in the old Racing Freaks days. It was on a green white checker restart. I started on the outside, and I think I started on the outside, and we went into turn 1 on the green white checkered, and I just kind of threw it in there on the high side, and I think Zach might have made it 3 wide on the bottom, and there was a wreck, and me and him were side by side coming off of turn 1 at Indy. It was pretty wild. The caution came out into the race. I got the win on that one. That was probably the craziest ending of a race at that time I'd ever been a part of, and I got the win on it. It was pretty intense. It was pretty exciting moment for me. So I'd say it's probably my favorite virtual memory of Indy.
Favorite memory of Indy. Back in 2010, I would have been 8 years old. Me and my dad, we went up to Indy for the Brickyard 400. That was the year Jamie McMurray won. It was one of the, honestly, first memories I have of going to a NASCAR race up there. And it was a really cool experience for me. It was great, being able to get that quality time with an old man and being able to see Jamie McMurray win. Everybody likes Jamie Mack, so it was really cool seeing him win a race. My guy Kevin Harvick, he got second, so that was pretty cool too. But yeah, that's got to be my favorite memory of Indy. We spent the whole weekend up there. We went to the infield, watched the trackside live, or whatever it was called, race day presented by the Home Depot, I think. It was many years ago, so I can't really remember. But, it was really cool seeing all that stuff. Got to see, Darrell Waltrip and those guys doing the pre-race shows and everything. And then we had some really good seats for the race. So it was a neat experience overall. And a track I'd like to go back to one day.
My favorite moment of Indy, man, it's a hard one. There's so many good ones. There's so many big things that happen at Indy. I don't really have one that stands out. I really like Indy. It's a good track. It's historic. really wish NASCAR would get back to racing out on the oval. I don't really enjoy them racing on the road course very much. But yeah, I love Indy. It's a fun track. I love watching the 500 every year. I used to love watching the Brickyard when it was happening. And
honestly, I don't think I have necessarily a favorite moment for Indy. To be quite honest, it's not a track that I personally enjoy or like. It kind of is up there for Pocono, which is just I would say could be demolished, but I know that track has a lot of historical value. So I would say let's demolish Pocono, let's keep Indy, just never race there again. But as for favorite memory, I suppose if I had to put one on, it would be the, if I'm not mistaken, 2017 real life race, where it kind of just ended up being a wreck fest at the end, and it was just short runs, and it was just craziness going on. If I'm not mistaken, it was Casey Kane that won it, because it was like a short race. And the only reason that I kind of enjoyed that race was just the fact that it was chaotic and it was a wreck fest, and I don't know, it just made it interesting. Outside of that, I don't really care for the track.
3.
All right, heading into Indy, my main goal was just to have a decent finish. The new layout or the configuration, ever since they repaved it, I've struggled with a little bit. I really liked the old configuration that iRacing had before, but ever since they repaved it and added the updated one, I've struggled with it some. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, it's a different surface to drive on. It drives differently.
My goal going into Indy is just top 5 finish, top 3, top 5, get stage points. If I couldn't get stage points, I was going to try and pit before the caution, see what that does. That didn't seem to work out for a lot of people. But yeah, it's just stay clean, somehow find speed and be up front, try to be a little more aggressive instead of getting held up in the back like I would usually do, especially like last week.
My goal for Indy coming into it is going to be to finish in the top 5 and score decent stage points. Really my goal is to just go into North Wilkes and just in a decent position. I don't want to put myself in the back 9 and then pretty much having to race in a must-win position. So yeah, that's my goal, just top 5 finish, nice and steady and easy and consistent, and go into the next race and do the same thing, and hopefully put ourselves into Phoenix, and then we can worry about racing for a championship there. So we'll see if it happens.
What is my goal going into Indianapolis? To win. That's bottom line. Anything less than that would have been looked upon as a disappointment. I've had so many good runs there in different leagues the last 2-3 years. I feel like I have a handle on that track. It's one of my favorites, honestly. I know a lot of people hate the track, but especially with the truck, it's hard to describe the track. I just like how it drives. How you got to drive it, and it's just you have to be smooth, but almost aggressive with your corners. But you also can't overdo it, or you'll kill the tires and you'll kill the long run speed. So I felt real confident going into Indy. That's when I said one of my better tracks. I was riding high, especially after just winning at Nashville. So I felt we had all the momentum, all the confidence in the world going in there.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to playoff racing action on Freeky Fast Broadcasting. It's the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. We're into the round of 8, 2 races before we get to our last to see who will race for a championship.
It almost feels like it was 2 different races for me. First half of the race went probably about as good as any race you could ever imagine went. Got the pole.
We qualified second. I don't know how.
Starting out, I believe we qualified around 5th or so, somewhere around there.
Packet blues right as the qualifying starts.
Well, at least you're here. That's what matters.
Yep, I'm in the back on a track where I need to be not in the back. See how it works out.
As that of the Logan-led 275 here in Indianapolis is green, and the start of the round of 8 is going to be here as Nick Crawford and Mark Whitley thunder down into turn number 1.
You know, qualifying something I've really struggled with this season, and I think we're starting to nail it down now because we had a pole last week at Nashville, and then we started inside the top 5 or close to it for Indy. Would like to be a little bit closer to the front, of course, but you know, you take what you can get. Started out okay. A little ways into the run, I kind of got shuffled out of line after the tires started to wear. They wore a lot more than I thought they would, and I started going backwards.
I'm probably going to live to regret making that pass, honestly. I feel like I'm pushing a little too hard right now.
Just kidding.
Kind of just stayed single file for the first 20 laps, and then finally the guys that were running up front finally started to wear their tires out, and we just started driving through the pack and started coming out and picking them off.
I was going to try and undercut a little bit some of the guys ahead of me. So I seen Crawford head into the pits like a lap before the halfway mark in our first run, so I follow him down. And we pit, we come out. I can't remember where we come out at, but we get about maybe a lap into the run, if that. We're going down the back straightaway, and the caution comes out.
Got out to the lead, drove away from everybody. Caution came out.
Mark Whitley's gap so big, I don't think that it really is going to matter too much, but the gaggle of cars behind this 13 is where the chaos potentially could happen.
Oh, and also the 38 there spins it around the front straightaway. The caution may come out with this,
and it
will. Man,
Cody
oh man,
Reed,
that changes it up.
replay, it's a 38, just misjudging coming into pit road.
Yeah, and like I said, it's such a tough pit road. Look how far behind you was this group, and everybody's stacking up here really slow here on the entry of pit road. The 38 there just probably too hard on the brakes not to get into the 11 or the 14, loses that rear end, spins it around, and right on the front straightaway, bringing out that yellow, and that is going to have a huge effect on this race.
That works out pretty convenient.
Maybe a lap into the run, if that. We're going down the back straightaway, and the caution comes out. I know there are other guys, mainly the rest of the field, that are still pitting and everything, so that put me in a really good spot because with that, I was able to get a bunch of track position on not too terribly older tires. I think I restarted 4th or so behind Crawford, and that put us in a pretty good spot going into that second half of the first stage. So after that, it was just kind of about maintaining what I had.
Pitted. I think we restarted maybe 3rd. I think I'm trying to remember how. Anyway, got back to the lead, drove away from everybody in the stage game. I felt like we had the fastest truck, short run, middle run, long run, the whole, like, pretty much start to finish. I felt like we were the class of the field.
Later this week, as we are back to Green Flag Racing, Nolan Hicks old tires, and so does most of those in the top 10. Let's see where they lie out. 31 laps in, 20 to go before our stage break, and it's going to be Nolan Hicks somehow holding strong through that at turn 1.
Yeah, great launch actually for him through 1, but I think after this turn 2, I think Mark Whitley is going to take that lead quickly back here, and you're going to see him get right to the bottom of that, get right to the quarter pound of the 86. Now going to have a giant run here down this back straightaway, and he's going to try to get back to that lead where he has been pretty much since the start of this race. The only thing stopped him there was that pit stop sequence. So he's back out front now. We'll see how does Hicks hold on with those older tires. That's going.
So my Indy race went decent, to say the least. It went pretty good, for the most part, basically. So basically, to sum it up, I went into it with very little amount of practice. Didn't really know what to expect. Wasn't that great in qualifying. Basically, my short run pace was awful, which, I mean, it's not really a surprise. I'm pretty much like that everywhere. So, and then statistically, or at least in the past, historically, even my long run pace normally isn't that good at Indy. So when I kind of realized I didn't have short run pace, it made me really scared. And I don't know, we put our heads down, we kept trucking, we kept learning. Thankfully, by the end of the first round, we got ourselves into, or the first run, we got ourselves into a decent position, where I think we were able to race from 10th, I think is where we qualified, up to like P2 or 3. And at that time, I felt pretty confident about my long run pace, and thankfully that was there. Unfortunately, again, short run pace wasn't really there. Mark was the leader at the time. Maybe after lap 20, between 20 and 30, we were really starting to gain on him. But he just checked on the short run. So, if I'm being quite honest, run halfway at Indy, I thought I was racing for second.
All season, it seems like it's just more of disagreements off the racing surface. But off the racing surface, speaking of, is the 25 of Cody Reed. It looks like he pulls down to the low side there and has some issues.
He got absolutely tail slapped by the 38, got loose at it too, and forced the 25 into the outside wall, and Cody Reed could be...
Thank you, Norris. I'm out for the night. See you guys. The one time all season I didn't wreck myself out of a race. At least I could say that.
Rip, Cody. Sorry, dude.
Cody, if you're still here, sorry, dude. I tail whipped you. I did not mean it. I mean, when you're on my quarter panel that much, that's what happens. Noah, that's not someone to mess with. I get you in the playoffs, but I would not mess with GT.
Hey, Jump, if we work together, we can get back to him. I'm not real sure that's a decision you want to make, Ethan. Not too sure you'd want to do that either. I offered to work together, and you clearly chose otherwise. I'll remember that. We can work together, you can just follow me. Because I'm actually going forward. Difference when you're saving a little bit of tires.
You were the chosen one, Anakin. It was said you destroy the Sith, not join them.
Some of these other guys, man, they could save tires so much better than I could there. I never got a grasp on it. I wish I could have. But we started to go backwards again. You know, the guys behind me were catching me. And I know that was also partially due to their fresher tires. But we just didn't have the speed that other people had last week, plain and simple. But and then at one point ended up going 3 wide with Ollie and John Forbes off of turn 2, and I was trying to leave each of them as much room as I possibly could.
He's been able to work himself
Oh
up
no,
farther.
Ollie Fonseca gets into that at John Forbes, into the inside wall, that was off the bumper of the 31, and now Ollie Fonseca's got a blown engine.
By the way, John, I'm sorry you got caught up in that deal off of 2 there. Ollie's truck hopped, and I didn't move over any like it was net code, but his spotter was telling me that he didn't think it was net code, so I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's all good. I don't know what happened either. I just finally got a run to pass some people, and then I see a truck just coming towards me, so at least we got something to work with here.
According to Tyler, who watched the replay, he said there was a good 6 inches between me and Ollie. And that magical force that we all know so well. Not going to say it, but we all know it. You know, the wind, it caught Ollie's left rear, and it torpedoed him down into John Forbes. And we were 3 wide for 5th. But it torpedoed him down into John and took both of them. It took Ollie completely out. And it gave John significant damage. You know, obviously that sucks. You know, I didn't want that to happen. I was trying to leave both those guys as much room as I possibly could. I knew John was to my inside. I was trying to leave him plenty of space, and Ollie was to my outside. I felt like I could get a little bit closer to him because I could see him better than I could see John. But that mystical force happened that we all know what it is. And it ended up shooting Ollie to the inside into Forbes, and that was all she wrote for that.
Out of the 31, will we see GT Rizari get a little bit aggressive as his rear end really starting to show an opening for that of Christopher Norris?
Yeah, he slides big there off of 4 now. The 38 going to make the big move, and Christopher Norris, after making a huge mistake trying to get on the pit road, he's fixed things up. And look at this, Ethan Smith, he's going with an interesting strategy here. He's going to hit pit road on the lap of the stage, coming to that white flag, and he's going to look to get service done on this truck and then not try to go a lap down here. This is an interesting call, something of a road course we would see sometimes.
And with this type of an advantage, he's trying to hope that he doesn't go a lap down for one. And as 2, this is setting up for a win, but that's giving away any type of stage points that this 000 is going to grab. He was in 8th place. That's 3 bonus points that you're saying, I don't want. I'm going for a win to lock myself into the Final 4.
Yeah, it's a big head scratcher for me, Sam, because, yeah, those 3 points that you're giving up, yeah, you might get the lead here and get 1 lap led there, but those 3 points that you're giving up, I mean, you know, that's bigger than 1 point you get for leading the lap. So I just don't see the reasoning behind that, but maybe Ethan has something up in his back pocket. He thinks maybe the clean air will be the key for him to try to go out there and get this win. But man, that's going to be tough because, you know, the pace here from his 77 has been fantastic pretty much throughout the whole entire race. You're going to need something big here to stop him.
It's going to be seeing our top 10. Mark Whitley in the 77 going to be in first. Cedrick Hunter in second. Nick Crawford takes third. Fourth goes to Trenton Jump. Danny Cochran's going to take fifth. With Christopher Norris sixth. Seventh goes to GT Rosari. Tyler Dengler's going to get eighth. With John Forbes taking ninth. 10th goes to Noah Steele. 7 of our 8 playoff drivers get those bonus points.
My race is screwed now. I was a sudden checkup.
And then after we pitted after the stage, we got rear-ended coming on a pit road. So that was unfortunate, so we had to stay and fix some damage. We didn't really lose a lot of track position, but we lost more than what we wanted to. And then after the stage, I just waited for people to wear their tires out and started driving in the front again. And then just shortly after the stage, we had a crash happen in front of us and couldn't really avoid it. And it's just really the summary of our season. You know, another week where I feel like I had a truck fast enough to go up front and win, and we just get caught up in someone else's circumstances. You know, just nothing you can do.
John, I thought I was going to the gearbox.
I just didn't want to hit you. I didn't know how far to the left I had to be before we'd ghost each other.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that too. I'll make sure to send out my money to pay for the medical bills for your crew.
You know, we were able to get 5th at the stage, so held on to that. And then second half of the race, it was second verse, same as the first. We just really struggled on the long runs.
Made a slight mistake at the stage caution when I was coming into pits. I'm so used to my routine getting in my pit box is always downshifting into first, getting into the box, and I don't know if it's a combination of the way the gearing was at Indy or just the high pit road speed that Indy has for this truck. So I went to first, it just wheel hopped real bad, and it caused me to just slide through the box just a little bit and had to back up. And
later on in the race, Mark has a mistake up pit road, and he slids through his box, and that's us in like a top 1 or either the lead or the second place, and puts him back to like 5th, where he has to race in traffic, which he didn't do the entire night up to this point. At that point, my idea was to defend. Obviously, the short run is in there, but assuming Mark can get back to us and pass us, and it didn't really play out that way, where he got caught up in a wreck.
Somebody else stayed out, I think, or they pitted right there before the stage, and it put us back in traffic, which I didn't think was going to be that big of a deal, but we started, after we got going, I tried to just kind of follow in Nick's footprints, just his tire tracks. And I didn't get off turn 2 that well, but I was trying to make sure I didn't overdrive it. And so Norris got a run on me down the back, and I tried to throw a block, and I was able to block the bottom, and then I went back to the top, and he was able to get outside of me. And I figured whenever we went in the corner, I'd be able to just, I'll be on the bottom, so I'd just be able to drive away. But he kind of hung on the right rear going through 3 and 4. I was like, all right, cool. I'll he might have hung out there, but I should be able to just, get back, on the bottom line. I'll just be able to go back and get back in front of him. And we went into 3, and I don't know how in the hell he got it to stick, but he drove that sucker in about as hard as I've ever seen anybody drive it in turn 3. And it really surprised me and caught me off guard. I missed the line a little bit, just trying to, he caught me up by surprise, and I had to, let off the gas a little bit because he was on the outside on the exit. And
our race car graveyard truck series here for the playoffs, the round of 8, and a little bit of blocking action as Mark Whitley trying to defend that of Christopher Norris in the 38. Mark Whitley sliding through his box under pit road, and it's cost him so much time and positioning, and now he's under threat here in traffic, and also a chance to get damaged, as this is a scary place to be. Side by side, contact, Mark, contact the wreck, a bunch of playoff drivers involved.
That is exactly what the 77 didn't want to see, and that is just huge. And even Tyler Dingler comes in there late and hits him. This right here is a whole change-up of things, and man, oh man, that just shows you getting yourself back there with a simple mistake like sliding through your box. You can be involved in just a simple incident like that.
Danny, did hit brakes too?
Yeah, I just got them brakes and said a prayer, Noah.
Yeah, I don't believe he needed it, but that time I think he saved me. I need to start praying more.
Norris, I was just giving you props to and like all my friends on my Discord of how good you were doing tonight, and then you do that.
He didn't do anything. He was against the wall. I don't know how that was his fault, but I mean, I'm seeing that in my mirror.
He got loose and came down on Whitley, just driving over his head because he pinned him on the outside and drove absolutely balls deep through forward.
I'm so sorry, Mark. I thought you were going to stay down there.
Wait, John, did that give you right side damage? I swear I didn't touch you on my end.
He got loose from just overdriving it and came down, clipped us, put us in the wall, and the damage would have probably been, it was bad enough we probably weren't going to be able to win, but the real damage came in with Tyler. He just didn't have anywhere to go and locked the brakes up and just ran into us, and it pretty much killed the truck. So the second half of the race was about as bad as you could go, honestly, barring it actually blowing up. So it was a real disappointment, to say the least. I felt like that was our race to win. We were dominating the first half of that race, and to get taken out by somebody that was not even in the playoffs anymore is a little disappointing. I know it's not really on purpose, but I don't really see a point in why somebody would drive it in that deep into 4. That it was still kind of early in the race, but you know, different people have different styles. I mean, I haven't really had that many issues with him in the past. I think it's just one of those deals where he just saw, it was like one of those moments where a dog sees a squirrel and just chases after it. He saw a little gap and tried to just throw it in there, and it just didn't work for us.
At that point, I immediately knew that I was going to be the fastest driver, or we were going to be the person to beat. I guess the easiest way for me to tell you how my race went is just to show you.
It's now you're going to have to really even use your tires to do it, because I think this 13 right now, kind of just trying to find the perfect situation to make it happen, but with the run out of 4, he might even be able to get to the quarter panel here heading down into 1.
Gonna be trying to get a little bit of draft, gets into the quarter panel, trying to give a bump in the entry of the corner to cause the 0-0 to just go a little bit too fast, side by side for the lead in the entry of turn 1, riding on board with that of the 13 and Cedrick Hunter, trying to make that outside lane work. He's gonna be still side by side, and here comes that of the drag strip on the backstretch. Who do you help? The 4, the teammate of the 13, goes to the outer groove. Same for GD Rossari in the 0-0 of Ethan Smith. The older tires, no friends to be seen, and now under a threat heading into turn number 3.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough position to be in if you're Ethan Smith here, because he's also going to have that 4 looking to get to the quarter panel also. But the 0-0 slides up in front of the 4. The 4 looks maybe to cross back under, but new leader here coming to turn number 4. And that'll be the 13 and 7.
We ended up getting some damage from contact with the wall, battling with Noah Steele. And then in the very last stint of the run, thankfully for me, there were some guys that got caught up in wrecks and they got damaged. So we were able to get ahead of some of those guys, and we ended up bringing it home 7th at Indy.
The back straight to the inside. The 31's going to throw a little bit of a block, but I think the 8's going to be there.
And he's going to be able to get the run. He's going to be on the inside, preferred lane to be in. But will the 31 decide to use up some more of those tires that really aren't there anymore? As they're going to be side by side into the wall, it's Danny Cochran as he drifts up. Noah Steele trying to give him some space. The 31, it doesn't work out, and that is some massive damage added on even more as he almost grazes the wall out of turn 4. And Zach, it goes from bad to worse for that 31 machine.
Noah, no! Go away!
I didn't touch you, did I?
No, that was all me.
I guess the easiest way for me to tell you how my race went is just to show you.
On our pit road. A lot of pit roads we go to are 45 to 55. The caution's out on the racetrack.
Yellow flag is out, and we're trying to find out exactly where it happened, and it is the 13.
I mean, he just lost it coming off a pit road. Not the greatest moment there for the 13 machine.
Brought out caution.
What? Park it. That was intentional. No, I'm just kidding.
There's no way that spin was a yellow. How did that? What?
I don't know. I just ran a f***ing towel in them.
Yeah, that's, I would say it's unfortunate, but it's really not for me. I'm sorry. That does suck, though.
Oh no, it's not unfortunate for you. It's fucking unfortunate for me. Oh, that sucks. But no, well, it's what I deserve. It's what I got.
To green flag racing, we are coming up to the last stages of this race. As the drivers are set, it's Nick Crawford, GT Rosari, Nolan Hicks, and Ethan Smith. All drivers on old rubber, and we're back to green flag racing.
And just like that, oh man, Ethan Smith looked to make a pass to the inside. Just could not get it done there as GT Rosari covers that off. But also now the 13th throwing a big block on the number 11 machine there, heading down to turn number 2 as everything's getting a little bit more aggressive.
Oh,
Martin Morales in the wall.
John Forbes, others all collected into that. Also going to be seeing Christopher Norris and another major contact and carnage. Influenced and involved are going to be playoff drivers as John Forbes just was not lucky after that one.
Who did it? That has to be a caution, right?
Myself spinning the grass brought a caution, but not that. What?
Danny, my life flashed before my eyes there. I just got all the shit fixed and I was worried it was going to come back.
Yeah, for real.
How many were in that, like 3, 4?
I don't know about Mark, but I counted 3 spinning down to the inside wall. That's why I said it had to be a caution.
Well, you have been watching the Logan Led 275, and it's time to see 20 laps to go over 110 expected here tonight as we're green. Nick Crawford, a fantastic launch for himself. Here comes Nolan Hicks on the inside as well. Going to be side-by-side for second. Will Cedrick Hunter try to force it 3 wide? He'll stay in line with the 86 machine as they come out of turn number 1. This is where they've been looking stable, but Hicks moves up into Rosari. They hold on, and Zach turn 2 is where we've seen all the issues, but the 4 clear, moving away. Hicks able to move up to second, and also going to be Cedrick Hunter's. You're seeing the bob and the weave and the passing going on. Our top 3 single filed out though.
Thank you, Steele, for giving me some room there. Great save, GT. Thank you so much for not killing me. Yeah, GT, that was a good save.
It was Rockingham to start out the round of 16. Last round, it was that of Nashville Fairgrounds, and now passing for the lead, Cedrick Hunter, who does not want to worry about next week when they head to North Wilkes. 15 laps to go for the drivers out there on track. 14 now as the 13 machines try and take the lead.
Yeah, this is the best opportunity for him here, heading down the ones, able to clear that.
I never really have speed at Indianapolis, so qualified second, stayed up there, fell back a little bit, just kind of stayed in the top 5 all day, tried short pitting every time I did a caution came out, so that didn't really help me. Just managed to be out of the wrecks, out of the problems, and ended up finishing second.
I guess the easiest way for me to tell you how my race went is just to show you.
As it's gonna be across the line, the 13, the Ride Rat white flag is out in the air. This is it, Zach, for Cedrick Hunter. What a fight it's been. He's just got 4 corners to make it through to lock in for the final 4.
Yeah, what a fight it's been. He didn't even know if he'd make it to this round of an 8. Just did it by the hair on his chin. And now will look to be the first driver to lock themselves into the final 4. Just got to hold back his teammate, who's about a second and a half back, down the back straightaway for the final time at this famous racetrack. As look behind the background, it's Ethan Smith trying to hold off that 14.
He's trying his best to hold off the 14. Doesn't want to get caught up in a wreck because then you can lose so many more positions. Because if you wreck out, you could fall all the way down to 11th instead of a third place finish. As up front, it is all Cedrick Hunter coming out of turn number 4. He has been fighting. He's showed strength on the long run. But as for seeing that of Mark Whitley and others taken out, it has been all the 13. Lock him into the final 4. Cedrick Hunter, win number 4 of the season.
That's for all those Indy fans out there. So obviously our race went very well. I guess I'm looking forward to North Wilkesboro having a lot less pressure on our backs. We're kind of just going in there just to race, just to have fun. Gonna try and help my teammate Nick Crawford of making it onto the next round. Hopefully we can get him into a winning position where we can, you know, he can get through with a win. Otherwise, I mean, just a top 5 would be good. But I'll do whatever I can to put him into one of those positions. Unfortunately, it being a short track, it's gonna be quite difficult for me to really have an impact. But we'll see what we can do.
And just, you know, wound up 10th. I guess we got lucky that there wasn't more people at the race than there was. At least got the stage win and got the most points, most laps led. So we at least got the bonus points, and we're going in to North Wilkesboro with a little bit of a cushion. We're not below the cut line, so that's at least a little bit of a redeeming factor. But I really feel like we should have won that race, and it's really disappointing. And I mean, at this point, you just kind of move on, and hopefully North Wilkesboro will be as good to us as Nashville. They're very similar style tracks. They're not identical like layout wise, but they're old school short tracks, very bumpy. Wilkesboro's got a lot more elevation change, but I just feel like they're in the short tracks I just really love with these trucks. So hopefully we can go in there and if not dominate like we did Nashville, hopefully at least get a good run. And you know, we've won every cutoff race so far in this playoff, so maybe we can go out there and win this cutoff race and go into Phoenix with some momentum. That's really the goal at this point. It's just to roll in there and just, you know, turn everything around. We were on such a roll before this, and first half of Indy we continued the roll. We just had a little bit of bad luck, and now it's just about, you know, righting the ship and getting back on that roll and just getting back where we want to be.
I guess that's it for the questions this week. We're going into Phoenix, man. We're gonna go race for a championship. First person to be locked into the final 4 should be fun. I really look forward to it. I don't know what more to say. Hopefully I'm season 4 champion. We'll see. Talk to you later, Sam. Adios.
Making the round 8 is, you know, I'd be upset if I didn't do it and made the, you know, Champ 4 every single season so far. That's my goal again this season. Indy didn't happen the way I wanted to. My goal for that race was to actually win it. I didn't have the long run speed that I usually do at certain tracks. I managed to sneak a third place in, but coming up for North Wilkesboro, that kind of puts me out of the playoffs by about 5 points. So it's a short track though. I do like short tracks. Short tracks have been pretty good to me. So I'm hoping to turn it around, sneak my way in there. I know I got to beat Trenton Jump. I got to beat Danny Cochran, and I know those are the 2 guys that are closest to me to sneak in there. So hopefully it's going to be a good one.
My finish at Indy gave me a little bit of confidence, but I'm not really good at North Wilkes. I don't have a lot of experience like I have been saying. So it's good to have those points. I think I'm probably 8 points above the cut line, which is 8 positions, and just gotta go out there and finish top 3, and I think that's all it's gonna take. I mean, at this point you should be finishing top 3 to make it to the top 4. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens, but I'm 50-50.
If we wouldn't have got those bonus points, I'd be really worried right now, because short tracks, you really need to qualify up front, be up front the whole race, because being in the back, somebody messes up, you have nowhere to go, and you just get involved and it kills your truck. So I feel, I'm not going to say confident, like, because it's a short track, so anything can happen. I feel cautiously confident, I guess. We have a little bit of a gap to, you know, the last playoff spot, so we're hoping to be able to go in there, have a good run, maybe hopefully win the race, or if not, you know, run top 5 the whole race, get stage points, lead some laps. Just, you know, go in there and do whatever we can do to make the playoffs, make the championship race, and that's going to be the goal. Like I said, I'm a little worried just because how short track racing is, but hopefully we have some better luck than we did at Indy. Well, I appreciate it, Sam. Can't wait for the next episode. This has been really fun to put together. Can't wait to see what you do, and hopefully a lot more cheery on the next video I have.
Based off my performance at Indy, obviously I would like to keep the momentum rolling a little bit better. You know, we had 1st at Road America, we had 2nd at Nashville, and then we had 7th at Indy. Not great, of course, and it hurts the momentum a little bit, but we're back at a track where I really feel comfortable at. I really, really, really like Wilkesboro. I understand the line there and how you have to run it over a long run to maintain your pace. I understand some brake bias adjustments that you can make, some steering ratio adjustments you can make. You know, just things you can do to help your performance overall that other guys might not be as aware of. Because Wilkesboro, it's not a super popular track to run in the trucks. I've ran it one time in another league. This was a little over a year ago. But other guys, I don't know if they've ever ran it. Honestly, it's not been on the service too terribly long. And not many truck leagues I've seen have ran that track. So I feel like having ran it before kind of gives me a leg up over some of the competition. I like to drive super late models, and I've raced super late models there before. If you can race those there, you can race the trucks there. They're significantly harder to drive. I'm really excited about tonight, honestly. I think we're going to have a heck of a machine under us. I think we're going to have strong truck, especially on the long run.
I wasn't really confident going into fairgrounds. I'm not really a big short track guy. But I'm pretty confident after leaving Nashville that we can at least go in and gather some stage points and, you know, just have a decent finish, you know, stay out of trouble, and really just move on to Phoenix. You know, if I can't get a win this season, I at least just want to make the championship 4 and give myself another opportunity, because I don't think anybody saw me being the guy that was going to win that Homestead race at the end of last season. You know, we kind of came out of nowhere, and we led a lot of the race, and then we kind of disappeared, and then we came from the back to the front again. You know, I kind of consider myself a long run guy, so I mean, maybe if we get a long run, then we'll see what we're made of going into North Wilkes.
I don't think it's quite a surprise that I did not practice. I typically don't really, other than the little practice session that we have right before the race, which I think I ran like 30 laps or so. So, yeah, I mean, practice went all right. Didn't really run too much of it.
Practicing for North Wilkesboro, all I really did was focus on qualifying speed and long run speed. That's just those two things. I wasn't worried about fuel, even too much about tires. The track is so finicky. It kind of has an uphill and a downhill. Both corners are different. I just tried to focus on being consistent. I knew being consistent was going to be very important, and I noticed on the long run that we had that it was. I felt good going into the race. I wasn't worried, you know, about how I was going to finish.
Practicing for North Wilkes didn't happen. I didn't do anything. All the practice was in the race session, like the practice before qualifying. But I did a test session here and there, but there was no real practice.
I didn't practice a lot, but I did practice some. I don't know, I felt pretty good. The truck was pretty tight in my eyes, and I don't know, it was tight, and then I feel like the trucks were going really, really fast around there. I don't know. I'm not a big short track guy. I never have been, and yeah, so I just tried to run as many laps as I could and just try to figure out what it was going to take to stay consistent for the race.
I didn't really practice that much. I was over at my parents' house for Thanksgiving. I kind of ran a couple laps using my dad's simulator just to see what the track had felt like. Didn't really, like I said, that was about all I got, maybe, you know, half dozen laps just to get a feel for the track. Mainly, I made sure to get into the server as soon as it opened so I get as much practice in the actual race server as I could. That was my goal, just to see how far I could push the truck, kind of like I did in Nashville. Just push the limit, see, find the limit, find the best line to do a quick hot lap, and then ran a couple, 10 lap runs just to see what the car felt like on the longer run, just because I figure, there wasn't that many cars that showed up compared to earlier in the season, so I knew there was a chance it could go green. Just wanted to be prepared in case we got a long green flag run. Didn't want to be caught off guard by how the truck was handling, so that was kind of my goal.
I did practice. I always practice. Or at least I've been trying to get in a better habit of it anyway. I did for a long time, and then somewhere around Texas earlier this season, it just kind of, I got out of it. Wasn't doing it as much as I should. And you can really see how that hurt my performance from somewhere around Texas to the week before Road America. Road America is when I really got back into testing a bunch during the week and practicing. Started on Tuesday, I believe. I did a session with Ollie, and I believe Cody was there as well. He practiced with me a bunch this week. But mainly Ollie was the one I practiced with the most. I did with Tyler a little bit too, but Ollie was the main one that I focused on practicing with because he was really fast this week. He was really consistent through our practice sessions all week. He kind of taught me a few things about how to run the place. I taught him a few things about qualifying and entry into one on how you can do that a little bit better. But he helped me a bunch as well with brake bias adjustments, steering ratios, and stuff like that. So, big shout out to Ollie. We practiced with Ethan a little bit too, but Ethan, I feel like he was kind of not wanting to practice with any of his competitors that week, which I understand. But we still, he was telling me about some of the lap times he had and stuff like that. So we weren't working together, but we shared information to a degree.
Honestly, I was pretty nervous after what happened at Indy, pretty much controlling that race and then making one small mistake put us in the field. And, when you get around a lot of other cars, stuff can happen. And, what happened, and we wound up wrecked and had to limp around the last half of the race, and it wasn't fun. We salvaged as many points as we could, so we had a little bit of a cushion going into Wilkesboro. Wasn't as much as I wanted. I wanted to go ahead and win Indy. That way I could not have to worry about it, because short tracks you gotta. There's always back of your head, somebody makes a mistake, you're going to be done. So I was a little nervous. I was also a little confident though. I figured we had the pace for the short track, so it was kind of a weird 50-50 of being kind of confident and very nervous. So that was the feeling heading into the race.
Kind of nervous. I've never been a guy to be. I guess in this league I've never been under the cutoff line until this race. I wasn't far under the cutoff line, but just far enough just to make you nervous. And then we didn't qualify well, so we just didn't run very well. So yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel 100% confident going into the race like I should be, but I definitely wanted to be like, hey, let's tuck our tail and see what we can get. And then just maybe see if we could sneak through at the end to make it to the Final Four.
I felt solid. I felt really confident. I knew Mark would be fast. I figured Ollie would be pretty fast as well, because me and him, like I said, we practiced a lot that past week, and we worked really well together. We learned quite a bit from one another, and I knew he was fast, so I was expecting him to really give me a good run for my money there. So he did. Mark was really fast as well. So I felt pretty good going into the race. I felt like I was probably the third or fourth fastest car there, and I think that we were.
I felt pretty good. I felt pretty comfortable. Obviously, we had a bye with our win at Indy, so we didn't have to really race for anything other than just trying to help out our teammate Nick. So I had absolutely no pressure, and it felt really good just to kind of have that the one race pretty much this season where whatever happens, and there's, like I said, no pressure at all. So I was feeling pretty good heading into it.
I was feeling okay. A decent amount of cars showed up, so I just had to kind of be average, just top 5 if I could.
Only one more chance to get into that Final Four. We already know one driver's locked in. That's the 13 of Cedrick Hunter, but 7 other drivers here tonight enter North Wilkesboro.
But drivers are trying to point their way into the next round, or if they win, they will be locked into our Final Four. You got Mark Whitley. He's going to be 9 points out. 9 points to the good moving into our Final Four. Then you got Nick Crawford, 3rd place, 8 points to the good. 4 points to the good is Danny Cochran. That is 4th place. Then there's the cutoff line. Drivers that are outside looking in, needing a good night here tonight. Trenton Jump, he is 4 points out of our Final Four. Ethan Smith, he is going to be 5 points out of our Final Four. That of Noah Steele is 7 points out. And John Forbes, he needs some good stage points. He is 12 points out from the goods. As taking the pole award, a driver that's been on a hot streak since he got knocked out of the playoffs. It's Ollie Fonseca in the 24, going to be in 1st place. Danny Cochran, our bubble driver, 4th place in points. Going to be in 2nd. Ethan Smith, outside looking in, going to be in 3rd place. John Forbes, needing some major points. He's going to be in 4th. Mark Whitley, the driver, most points coming into the night. Not locked in just yet. He'll be in 5th. Noah Steele, the major underdog driver. Will the Cinderella story continue on? He'll start in 6th place. Nick Crawford going to be in 7th. He comes in 3rd in points. Nolan Hicks going to be the first of our non-playoff drivers in 8th. Then it's Cedrick Hunter falling all the way down to 9th place for the 13. And the last season's champion, Trenton Jump, finishing out our top 10.
My race went pretty well. We started on the outside pole next to Ollie, the 24. He was a little faster than us in qualifying. If I didn't spin it on my 2nd lap in Q, then I think I could have possibly gotten the pole because I was tracking a little bit better time. But I ended up spinning. So, started outside pole. We were able to hang there for a little bit. Ollie, he actually didn't know that he could choose the outside. Seems to be a common theme, I guess. But he didn't know he could choose the outside. He started on the inside in the 1st position. Then I was able to hang with him on the in the initial start because the leader doesn't have an advantage there. And we hung on his outside, and I believe it was like a lap and a half after the green. We were able to get around him.
It was honestly pretty uneventful. For a very eventful race, my race was pretty boring. Qualified, where did I qualify? I think around 8th or so, maybe 10th. Somewhere around there in the midfield. And took our time with it. Again, like I told, well, pretty much everybody, I think that my short run pace was, even the practice before the race started, that my short run pace was going to be awful and I was going to really struggle in qualifying. That was going to be my weak point. And lo and behold, it kind of was, where we blasted off and it was really tough to pass. And to be honest, we didn't really make too many passes early and we kind of just hung out.
For our front runners, for all the playoff drivers that are left in the Elite 8, it's time to go green flag racing for the Logan Lad 170 here in North Wilkesboro, and they're already pointing a little bit of 3-wide action. Ollie Fonseca trying to hold that bottom groove as here comes Danny Cochran on the outside.
Yeah, trying to hold that upper groove. It was Ethan Smith, the first one to look there to make it 3 wide, and he's going to be 3 wide in that 2nd row. As Mark Whitley, he's going to take advantage of that and try to get 2 passes done here through the middle, and Ethan Smith loose off a 4. That drops him back, but right now still side by side for the lead up front. Cochran fighting hard for that position. 1 and 2 is going to be the preferred groove up top, and he finally does clear down here in the 3.
Able to clear, but for how long? The driver that is on the move, the 77 of Mark Whitley, already up 2 positions in just our first 3 laps here tonight. And Mark Whitley looking strong, but there's already issues further on back. It's Jonathan Smith, Mark Whitley's teammate, that gets spun around for the 72 back in 19th position.
Started 10th. Kind of ran hard, and just kind of tried to figure out, do I need to save tires, do I not need to save tires, and really, we didn't really get enough green runs in to be able to save tires and really just make it matter. I had a little run-in with Nick, just got down in a turn 1 too hard and braked, and if you brake too hard there, it just shoots the rear end out, and I ended up going up the track and getting into him a little bit, and you know, out of all the playoff guys, he's the one I really never talked to, but I really don't have an issue with him. I like Nick a lot, so I kind of started getting with him.
I started, I think, around 7th or 8th, and then was just kind of planning on staying there. I was so terrified of that track. I don't know what it was. It's so close, and I just didn't have a lot of practice, especially around other cars. So I was just trying to stay out of the way but not lose too many spots. And then I know that on one lap Trenton kind of sent it in and got loose underneath me and slammed into the left side of my car, which was cool. You know, we all love that.
My bad, I got loose and wheel hop.
Other leagues of the vehicles run well here at North Wilkesboro, and this track really seems to suit the driving style of 13 pretty well. If you look at that this is a short track, get loose, and oh no, speaking of loose, there's Nolan Hicks on the inside.
Yeah, take the words right out of your mouth right there is the 86. It loops it there off of 4, similar kind of what the Jonathan Smith did, but yeah, I mean, as this run goes on, those rear tires are
starting 5th. I felt like I had to be aggressive trying to get to the front because I know it gets so hard to pass on a longer run with these trucks on a short track. So I was trying to just get to the front, but I kind of ran into a little bit of a roadblock there. We were running in 3rd, 4th for, a good 20, 30 laps and couldn't really do anything. It just felt like I was overdriving it a little bit, trying to stay behind the guys, and we weren't going that fast, but I feel like the dirty air, it affected the truck a little bit more than I'd like.
Because we're back to green flag racing as Dan Cochran's gone once again.
Yeah, great start there from that 31.
Noah Steele!
No, behind him.
Noah Steele gets shoved right in the outside wall. That Cody Reed's going to be on the downstretch in the grass. And just in a blink of an eye, our Cinderella story is over as now more drivers up the wall. That's Ryan Ferraro stuck on the wall. Yellow flag.
And he's flipping and tumbling off the wall. So extracurricular activities here happening at North Wilkesboro, something you didn't expect, but
thank you, whoever did that.
They are loving where they're at. Again, Cedrick Hunter already locked into our final 4. There are only 3 spots open. Danny Cochran kind of trying to do the Mark Whitley route of just dominate a race. And if he gets stage points, gets the most laps led, he is in a great spot for himself. But up front, driver spinning out. That's Cedrick Hunter spinning in front of the drivers and somehow avoiding everybody.
yeah, I think a little bit of contact from the 77, but I don't think it was anything malicious.
My bad, Cedrick. I was just trying to go to the bottom, and I don't know if you just checked up more than I thought or what, but I didn't think I was going to be that close to you.
It's all good. I didn't hit anything. Wreck, pick up.
Falling back through the field, we got track position, and we had a mid-race caution, mid-stage caution that cycled us out, I think, to 4th, and from there we got into 2nd or 3rd, and then we got spun out right before the stage by Mark, which, again, I'm not racing for anything, so it was whatever. He went into the corner a little too deep and got into us. If I was actually racing for something, honestly, I probably would be a lot more upset than I am. Like, it didn't really matter, and that's kind of what I told him, because he was apologetic and everything.
And now a Cochran up to 4th. How fast will the tires come through here with Ethan Smith, John Forbes up here in front?
Well, it's not going to be long. Yellow flag's going to be thrown. Backstretch, it's the 3 machine of Anthony Gaudio, who's going to be bringing out this yellow, and it looks like another driver getting a tad bit of a bump to assist them around the corner.
Sorry about that, Gaudio. I couldn't react fast enough, but also you were spinning right in front of me.
You're good, man. No, that was all me. Sorry about that.
And we set sail for a while. Mark, Ethan, those guys were all battling behind me, so it gave me a good opportunity to pull away and lead almost the entire first stage. I believe it was around lap 50-ish, I want to say, we took tires. Because the guys behind us did on the restart, on the caution before that. So we wanted to get that tire advantage and on the back half of the stage. So next restart, I restarted, I want to say 7th. And then we went 3 wide down into 1 and kind of got around some of the guys with older tires. Got up to 4th position. Caution came out again. Leader chooses the outside. It allows me to get a good jump behind him. So I believe it was Crawford. So I got a good jump. Got side by side with Ethan Smith. Battled him. I knew he would fight me hard because he was in a, I won't say super desperate situation, but he was fighting for everything he could in that race. It was really important that he posted a better result than me. But he fought me really hard for the 2nd position. I was able to sneak to the outside of Crawford, and after I got to his outside, he didn't fight me too hard, and I was able to get around him. After that, Mark kind of caught up to me because I wasn't pushing as hard as I needed to going into the stage break.
Cochran at 2.
Yeah, that outside groove, it's tough to make it work. You got to be very, very patient. If you overdrive it, wash up too far, that 77 will clear him in the middle, but he's just laying on the quarter round just enough there as they come off a 4, sliding sideways, almost making contact, heading down the 1. This is some great racing. The 77 tries to slide him, but oh no, didn't clear him, and that was into the quarter panel, but yellow's out.
And that's the stage. It's a big one on the front stretch.
I was just kind of following Danny. He passed Nick, and then after that, I was just like, all right, go get him. And I ran my butt off just trying to get near him. And then once I got to him, I'm like, I got to pass him. I got to get that stage win. It's all about the points tonight. It's just get as many points as you can, no matter how you can get them. And I didn't want to, like, you know, just go in there and wreck him or something. I have too much respect for Danny to do something like that. So I just trying to get my nose up under him and use the bottom. And I think we ran side by side for 4 or 5 laps, and I got ahead, and I just couldn't ever clear him. And I know I went down to 1 a little bit deeper, and I gave him a little bit of the right rear. He went up the track a little bit, but he still hung on the quarter panel, and we were going side by side. And I think we'd have been side by side all the way to the end of the stage. But caution came out luckily when we were in the lead and got the stage win, so that made the rest of the race a lot less stressful because I knew we had, you know, we won the stage. We already had a gap, so barring an absolute catastrophe, we were probably going to be locked in.
After the stage, we went back green, and I think that's when all the shenanigans started. And I know I got run into again with the air from Trenton, so no fault to Trenton at all on that one, but it happened, put me out. And then I think I got another caution to kind of keep me in. I don't remember. It's all a blur. And then it was just kind of flip-flop with the tire strategy. And then we had a long run where I was trash, like straight up trash.
What are you brake checking me for?
I didn't do it to you.
Yeah, a good way to cover that up.
Dude.
You literally checked up on the front stretch. I don't want to hear it.
I ain't getting you right in front of me. I didn't want to hit him and ruin his race. I mean...
For what it's worth, Norris, I do appreciate you being, you know, courteous there.
I mean, also, Ethan, I'm at 900 RPM. That's like 20 miles per hour less than you guys are running. They usually bring like everyone else and pass me without hitting me.
Well, I'll look at it again, but all I saw was your truck coming straight for me while we're going straight. Sorry for flipping, but it looked like you checked up from my point of view.
Got decent stage points. I think we finished 6th. We bounced back to like a 6th place finish, I think, in the stage. Just trying to maximize and help out Nick as much as possible. And, well, after the stage, yeah, I'm just chilling behind him, saving our stuff. And at some point throughout the race, I told him, you know, I think I can get them if I just get by you. Like, we were kind of taking it easy, and I told him I wasn't going to be too much of a threat. But I think I've been saving my stuff. You know, I really want to see what I've got in the truck. So he let me by with, I want to say, about 50 laps to go or so in the race. And we took off.
Obviously, we're seeing it right now as he's going to be passing down to Mark Morales, but already starting to see Ollie Fonseca in the picture. 1 second already taken off the list. He's gone. For that Cedrick Hunter from speed 7.5 seconds back from our leader, now down to 6.5, and a yellow flag comes out as it's going to be John Forbes and GT Rizzari.
Yeah, and that was that was all building up there with all the racing going on between that group of four.
We're back to green flag racing here tonight.
Yeah, big start from Whitley there, but almost 3 wide as Cochran thought about sticking it to the inside of the 24. But here comes the 13 of Cedrick Hunter around the top side. He's going to try to make it happen, but the 4 behind him is the 24 up into the 13, washes him up the racetrack. That's going to check up that outer groove.
And also going to be collecting that of Trenton Jump. Going to get a little bit of scrubbing action, as well as Ethan Smith. And Nick Crawford spins, overcorrects, able to stay out of the outside wall. We stay green. A scary spot for the Ford machine as we continue to bounce forward. Ethan Smith, Trenton Jump is getting a lot more aggressive. That front bumper has given some hard shots to the 00. And Jump, I think he might be recognizing the situation he's in. He needs to be moving forward if he wants to go fight and defend for his championship. Trenton Jump! He gets into Ethan Smith, and Smith spins around.
Oh, this sets up some interesting antics out there for sure. As the 46 into that 00, and I'm sure the 00 not going to be too happy as we're going to get this instant replay to see exactly how it all shook out here. Off of 4, you're going to see racing hard here, the 00.
We finally had a long run come in, and I ended up catching up to Ethan. And I got down to the inside of him and held my line, and from what I was told and from the replays that I watched after the race, he drove down into me and then it ended up spinning him out. So that caused a caution late in the race, and he went in and pitted and got new tires, and a lot of us stayed out.
But here comes the 00 back there in the background. He's going to get to the inside of the 11 of John Forbes there himself, and he's going to be right on the back bumper of this 46. This could be fireworks.
Where do you go? How do you place your vehicle? Everyone's practically running that inside lane as Ethan Smith trying to figure out how to place himself forward, but his teammates going to be boxing him on the outside. Ethan Smith wasn't able to get to the outside quarter panel, blocking by Trenton Jump. Jump gets knocked out of the way. A little bit of payback from earlier, and now the 00 going to be moving up to 6th position. He's in prime spot, but he needs to make it at least a pass every 2 laps now.
Yeah, he definitely does it. And I tell you what, also, the 00 can't look too far forward. The 46 is going to be in position here to possibly, maybe get a little bit of retaliation. Never say it's not possible, because we've seen it before here, and now we'll see how it all shakes out.
It was the 46 last season that got intentionally wrecked by that of Danny Cochran, and now the 46 heavily damaged. And will he try to get some payback on the 00? They've had their bickers, they've had their squabbles, and now, Zach, it's time to see, will anything happen between the 00 and the 46?
Took kind of a risky call, pitting early. It's kind of hoping it would have stayed green a little bit longer, so those guys on older tires would have maybe not got to pit, or maybe pit later. Either way, I got stage points, but I knew when Danny passed me, he already led laps, and I knew that was going to be it. I needed to win.
Inevitably, he caught up to me, and then going down to turn 1, he didn't just bump me. I mean, he slammed into me really, really hard, and it took all of me not to collect anybody else. I almost slammed into Danny, and at that point, I hit the incident limit for a penalty. So I had to come into a drive-thru, and I came back out and was running laps around, and just I waited for him. If I'm not gonna make the Final 4, you're not going to make the Final 4 either based on your consequences. If you want to bump me out of the way, fine, but you slammed me out of the way. So you're going to face the consequences.
Trenton Jump, he didn't go all the way high. He's going to hold where he's at. He's going to side draft, trying to hold up that of Ethan Smith the best that he can. Gets to the outside wall, and that's all he's going to do. Or will he? He's right to the back bumper. He taps him. Smith spins around, and that's a disqualification for both.
Thanks for the intentional and the disqualification, Trenton. I knew you slowed down for that.
The Long Road episode is going to be good.
Unfortunately, when you have sore losers and people who just don't know how to drive short tracks like Trenton Jump, that purposely wreck people because he sucked all night and just wanted to throw a fit like a baby. That's just unfortunate. I'm not mad that I didn't make the Final Four because of my ability. I knew, I gave everything I had in the car without slamming the wall. And I'm not mad about that. I just didn't have the run that I was hoping for. But with fresher tires and the few laps that were left, I feel like I maybe could have snuck in a win and got in. But, sore losers and people who get butthurt because they suck and don't know how to drive on a short track. It's unfortunate. They can only win on bigger tracks or road courses, apparently. And that's just, how it is for those kinds of people, I guess. He's not in either. I'm not mad that I didn't even make it in for my ability. It's just getting taken out like that from someone who can't handle his own emotions it's embarrassing if you ask me. But, that's something for the league to figure out, for the admins to figure out. Just what a loser. Unfortunately, me and him were just having a conversation about it. Not much really beneficial about it because nothing whenever he opens his mouth is beneficial. I mean, he's got one brain cell, so I don't really expect any of that to be beneficial.
I've been pushed around in this league the last 6 months, and how many times I've been wrecked out of the lead, screwed out of races because of conspiracies and just all the things that have gone wrong, and I've not acted upon any of that on anybody, and this is just the last straw. So if I'm not making the Final Four, neither are you. So we ended up getting disqualified, and I think he got disqualified at that point too for hitting the instant limit. So good on him. Hopefully he cleans up his act a little bit. Just whatever it was this season, he went from someone who had no issues to from the private messages I got after saying it's about time finally somebody did that to him, to one of the most disliked guys in here. So that's on him.
The child Norris always has to open his mouth as if anyone was talking to him, which nobody really wants to talk to him. It's like he has nothing to do with his life but sit on his phone and wait for someone to message before, so then he has someone to talk to. So I don't know if he just doesn't have anything going on or what, but it's quite annoying. I wish he'd get a life, or maybe instead of waiting for people to message on Discord, he should probably practice more so he can make it past the round of 8. That's unfortunate. He improved a lot this year, so maybe he'll do better next year. Hopefully, he's okay to race around, so we'll see how his year goes.
Dominator, but yellow flag comes out. John Forbes spins out, and we talked about how he was struggling just to hold on. It might have got a little bit of assistance. The 11 goes around.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit of help there from the 14 at GT, as those two have had multiple incidents now in this race, and this sets up a green-white checkered. This is not what Mark Whitley wanted to see. I mean, we got possibly 3 attempts here, and he's been super dominant here ever since he's got to that lead. But
the rest of the race, it just kind of worked out. Being out front, never lost the lead, and I could just hit my marks, and I kind of just drove away. And then, toward the end of the race, we got a couple late cautions. There was one, I think we were like 3 to go, and I had like a 1.5 second lead, and I was just, like, oh, here we go again. Let's just try to get a good restart. And on the restart, me and Ollie were side by side, and I'm not sure. I think we were just both he was trying to hold me up, I was trying to get a straight exit, and we just kind of touched a little bit of net code maybe. Almost ended our race on the restart.
As it is time for our first attempt at overtime, and already contact for our leaders. Restart is going. They're scattering. That's exactly what John Forbes needs, as they're 3 wide behind. But it's going to be Mark Whitley, Ollie Fonseca, Nick Crawford. Their squabbling isn't over just yet.
No, it definitely is. Here comes the 4 to 24, covers them off, throws the block, but they just need to see the white flag here coming out at 4.
John Forbes on the outside. He goes from 7th, now up to 6th. He's trying to move up to 5th place. He's got to pass that of 6 different drivers. Ollie Fonseca going to be diving it down low, not close enough. It's your right red, white flag. Mark Whitley holds on for now. John Forbes just not able to move forward. Mark Whitley, will he be tapped? He gets bumped by Ollie. John Forbes is wall riding. John Forbes is trying. It won't work. Mark wins.
What a crazy finish there, Mark Whitley. Awesome job by him holding off to everybody, because that restart went sideways there right off the get-go. He wins the race. Fonseca second, Crawford in third, and Forbes somehow comes home fourth after riding the wall. I mean, I had a feeling it was coming. I knew he needed something big, but whew.
He was definitely going for the win, because I know he gave me the bumper a little bit in that first lap, and on the last lap going into 3 and 4, I watched the broadcast back, and I don't know how I didn't wreck that, because he gave me a shot from hell, and I just kind of made sure the wheel was straight, and he hit me and went up the track, and I just didn't want to spin it out, so I just kept my momentum going up and got off of 4 and got to the start-finish line as fast as I could, and it worked out, and that's a great way to go into Phoenix off a win. Winning all the cutoff races, it's more nerve-wracking than I would like, but hey, we had 1 win in the regular season, we got 3 in the postseason, so our peaking when it matters.
Super crazy, and it just worked out to where we had a little bit fresher tires at the end and managed to pull away with a 3rd, kind of stole that away, but they're all factors of racing, so whether they are artificial or natural. But in the end, we came out 3rd, and it was a good day, and we got all the points we needed.
I feel awesome. Coming into the season, the goal was championship or bust. I mean, that's pretty much all it was for. I came back to win a championship. I knew there was a lot of tough competitors. That some of them weren't here in season 1, like Trenton. Unfortunately, he didn't make the Final Four. But you got new guys to the league like Cedrick. But I've been racing him for years, so it's the best of the best right now. The 4 in the playoffs are probably the 4 best drivers of the year. You can maybe make an argument for 1 or 2 other guys that maybe been in there, but on a consistent basis, the 4 that made it, me, Cedrick, Danny, and Nick, were pretty much all the most consistent top runner guys. We'd each have our own races. Like Nick dominated Road America, had a little bit of unluckiness, with his connection, but I mean he was the class of the field by a mile. He's awesome at road courses. I'm not really sure how he is at Phoenix. And then Cedrick, he's strong everywhere, especially in the long run. That guy has got some voodoo magic when it comes to long run speed. And then Danny, he's just a scrappy competitor. I mean, he might not be the fastest guy on the track sometimes, but he will race you just like Ryan Newman. He will race you hard and clean, but he's always a tough out every time you're racing him. So it's going to be a tough race at Phoenix. I think it's going to be fun, but hopefully we can come out on the top.
Oh, it's great to be here. We worked all season to get to this point. We've battled really fast competitors, some of which aren't racing with us at this point in the season. But, all the guys we've raced with, I feel like anybody from that round of 8, they deserved a shot at the Incredible 4. John Forbes, Ethan Smith, Noah Steele, the dark horse, he got really far, man. He had some terrible luck throughout the season. I feel like it would have been cool to see him get into the round of 4. But Trenton Jump, silent but steady season, man. He's had a heck of a run. He's had a lot of bad luck. Stuff hasn't gone his way, which we've seen partially at Wilkesboro. Part of that he brought on himself, but we're not to that point. Ethan Smith, another great racer. He deserved a shot at the Final Four too. I feel like it's weird. All 4 of us that are in it now definitely deserve a shot at it, but I feel like there's 3 or the other 4. Wait, hold on, let me try that again. I'm in a weird position. I know all of us that are in the Final Four, I feel like we deserve to be there. We've put up really consistent numbers this season as far as wins and, overall running position. But I feel like the guys in the round of 8, they are just as good as us. Or definitely as good as me. I don't know about Mark and Cedrick, those guys really talented, but definitely as good as me. So it's a tricky situation, all in all. But I'm thrilled to be here. We worked all season to get to this point, and we're not going to lift off the gas now. I learned that last week at Wilkesboro, that after you get a lead, you don't start saving, you push. So if we can get that advantage here at Phoenix, if we can get the clean air, we're not looking back. We're going to bring it home. And we worked, I'm going to try this again. We've worked all season to get to this point. Practicing the majority of the season, week in, week out, doing everything we can to post good results and bring home solid finishing positions. And that's been proven with our results at some races. You know, we won Las Vegas, we won Road America, all because we spent time during the week practicing. You know, and we're not going to stop doing that at Phoenix. I think you have to practice to beat these guys. These are some really talented race car drivers, virtual race car drivers. Some of the best I've seen, you know, or at least raced with. So it's going to take a lot to beat them. And I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, but we can't afford to run second to any of them.
I still don't feel like I belong here. I still feel like I've lucked into a lot of it, but on the other side, I would always say to other people that, you know, all these factors are a part of racing. Avoiding wrecks, tire changes at the perfect times, or as they like to say, the tire lottery. So it's all a part of sim racing, whether it's internet connections or avoiding wrecks or just being fast. So I'm still trying to accept it, but it's really cool to be here.
I guess I'm not too surprised. I kind of expected to make it at the beginning of the season, or even kind of projecting into the future when even before joining the series. I was confident, and I thought for sure, you know, if I get in there, I should be able to race for a championship, and whatever track that they go to, I should be a threat. I've been feeling like that, you know, I've been the most consistent driver in the regular season, and I mean that my average finish shows that. So Mark has probably been the favorite heading into the playoffs. He's really stepped it up. I don't know, we haven't reached that level yet, but I guess there's one more race to go to find out if I can. So I'm not particularly a huge fan of the trucks and how they drive, and I know that kind of fits in his playhouse, and he runs in multiple leagues now that have this vehicle, and it just suits, I guess, the driving style. So I think he's probably the favorite, obviously, heading into this race, but I mean, I wouldn't tune us, or I wouldn't count us out. Danny's obviously been pretty quick, inconsistent, but pretty quick throughout the season as well. And Nick's kind of in the same thing, where there's some races where they flick it on and they're stupid fast, and then there's some races where, you know, the speed's unfortunately just not there. So I look forward to this race. I think that we're all probably pretty good at the track. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, you see us 1, 2, 3, 4.
As for me, you know, not making the Final Four, it is what it is. It's unfortunate I got dumped and wrecked intentionally, but I trust the admins will sort that out. And yeah, it's, you know, I'm not upset by my driving ability. I didn't have the best last two races. Indy didn't go the way I wanted, and North Wilkesboro was going somewhat the way I wanted, but, you know, people who suck at short tracks end up ruining other people just because they're mad. It's just what it is. Unfortunate, but, you know, I'm going to come into Phoenix, you know, race everyone like I always do, just go in for a win and see if I can tie Mark and start challenging for that, you know, most wins in the league. That's probably my goal.
Didn't make the Final Four. Sucks, you know, being defending champion and not making it, but you know, I'm not really a short track guy, so having two of the cutoff races towards the end of the playoffs be short tracks stings a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. And obviously, I'm suspended for Phoenix, so I'll be watching from the top of the box. So see you guys next season.
As for my final thoughts, I hate to say it, I hate to be that guy, but I was right, and there were people in the playoffs that shouldn't have been, and based on their previous actions, and then they repeated it, and this time they chose the wrong person to do that with, and it bit them in the butt. But I guess that's what happens sometimes when you double down. Sometimes you just bust.
Phoenix is going to be a fantastic show. There's so many variables at this point we could see at Phoenix. There's a lot of hot tempers. There's a lot of frustrated drivers. I mean, and we've got 4 guys going for a championship. You know, I think if anybody has ruffled feathers with another driver at any point in the season, it might come to light this week, if it hasn't already. Going into the Final Four, man, it's going to take everything we got. All I'm saying is that he showed at Wilkesboro that he doesn't care to rub fenders, and you know, rubbing's racing. So he showed that he doesn't care to rub a little bit to make a pass happen. So precedent's been set. We can do that going into Phoenix.
Only thoughts I gotta say is, you know, I'm been happy to be back in the league. Competition's even better than I remember. The people in the league are all fun to hang out with, talk, you know, shoot, you know, water cooler talk, you know, shoot, whatever you want to call it. It's great being back, and hopefully I can stay here for next season also, and hopefully we'll go in here, win a championship, and try to defend it next season. If not, you know, hopefully we ain't got to worry about it, but if we don't get a championship, we'll come in next year and try to win that one, because you know, this league is so competitive and so fun. It's one of my favorite leagues I've ever been in, honestly. So we're gonna see what we can do, and you know, hopefully we can come out on top of Phoenix.
If I win the championship, fantastic. That's kind of what I came here for, and if I don't, well, I also came here to have fun, so I'm not too necessarily worried about it. I don't know. I was frustrated at the middle of the season and kind of ready to throw the towel in, and like I said, this league is just crazy dramatic sometimes, and it goes through ups and downs, and you get super frustrated, and I guess if you stay in it and you keep your head down, eventually stuff's gonna boil over. And I mean, we saw that in North Wilkesboro, right, where you had one team, in particular one driver, that just played a character the whole season and tried to be, I guess, another version of Dale Earnhardt or something, and pissed everybody off. I mean, the thing with Dale is that he pissed people off, but he had their respect, and you know, I'm going to say that Ethan's the one in question here, and I guess tried to do the same thing, right? He ran his mouth, and he was aggressive. He didn't necessarily cause too many on-track incidents, but when you call people out and you drag stuff on, and then you do it with just about everybody in the league, I mean, eventually somebody's going to snap, and that's what we had at North Wilkesboro, and Trent got frustrated. I don't necessarily blame him, and I don't blame Ethan for getting back into him, since like the whole incident, I guess with both of them was, I kind of saw it, you know, halfway through the season that something like that was probably going to happen. At some point we were going to see somebody getting intentionally wrecked. To be fair, there was a while there where I thought I was going to probably do that to somebody just out of frustration. I can say that I'm pretty glad that I wasn't that person. And you know, it's at the Final Four, so it was an interesting race. It was dramatic. Hopefully we don't have that kind of drama heading into Phoenix, and we can all go there and you know, race clean. If something happens in the last few laps, then so be it. We all have to do whatever we have to win a championship, so we'll see how it plays out. But I guess for now, you know, we'll leave it to Phoenix. We'll leave it to Monday.
Now, the part we've been waiting for, baby. Yes, sir. All right, hold on.
I'm doing this on purpose.
You man. Hide the clothes basket a little bit.
Now let me make sure everything looks squared away here. Make sure my hat's on straight and all that good stuff.
I think this is number 5.
Wait, let me try that again. I don't know why I said that twice.
Let me actually pull up iRacing real quick, because I don't remember where I qualified. It's gonna just take a second, Sam. Hold on.
This is gonna be good. Oh, this has got nothing to do with me. I'm just enjoying the show.
Alright.
Hi Sam, how's it going? This is take number 2 on recording this video. Unfortunately, I did the full recording on the last one, then realized there's no sound. So that's what happens when you got, you know, an IQ of like 15.
How was I feeling heading into the race?
What's going on, Sam? How's it going, man? I'm sure the editing probably isn't that much fun, but I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, I think that's it. So, Sam, if you need anything else, get a hold of me, dude.
As it's a new season, a new look, but the same drivers that we've been seeing for the past 2 seasons. It's time for season 3 to see what that of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series is gonna bring us. Cedrick Hunter's gonna have an opportunity to drive it down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedrick Hunter. He does it. He steals it. Miami 225 is all for Hello Kitty. Cedrick Hunter becomes the first driver this season to become a multi-time winner. Tom Ford's not close enough. Winning, it's Nick Crawford here at Bristol. Then Smith, he's down low at the quarter panel. He can't spin him. Danny wins. A great drive from Mark Whitley. The 77 is back to victory lane in the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series.
Able to hold back GT Azari. It's going to be the 13 of Cedrick Hunter, though, winning tonight here for the Larry Zarch Productions 130.
Up front, it's the teammates. They were strong at the beginning. They keep it strong at the end. Mark Whitley, Jonathan Smith, 1-2. Booking his ticket to the round of 8. Danny Cochran wins here at Road America. And back at the cutoff race for the round of 16. Well, he's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. It's his Mart, the 77 of Mark Whitley. Give him the win, and as well, give him the record books for 4. He has been fighting. He's shown strength on the long run, but as for seeing that of Mark Whitley and others taken out, it has been all the 13. Lock him into the final 4. Cedrick Hunter, win number 4 of the season. Next, he's trying to move up to 5th place. He's got to pass that of 6 different drivers. Ollie Fonseca going to be diving it down low. Not close enough. It's your right brand white flag. Mark Whitley holds on for now. John Forbes just not able to move forward. Mark Whitley, will he get tapped? He gets bumped by Ollie. John Forbes is wall riding. John Forbes is trying. It won't work. Mark wins. At turn number 4, they're 3 wide behind. At turn 4, they're going to be right on the bumper. Side by side to the line. They're 3 wide for the championship. Your Season 3 champion is